The town of Everwind sat on the coast, a place where the ocean was both a lifeline and a constant threat. As the summer stretched into September, the winds started to pick up. Hurricane Rhea was churning in the Atlantic, and the warnings grew more urgent with each passing hour. Emma, a single mother, and her 10-year-old son Jonah had lived in Everwind their whole lives, but this storm felt different. The air is thick with an unnatural stillness, and even the seagulls have gone silent. They boarded up their small house, filling the pantry with canned goods and water, preparing to ride it out like always. As night fell, the rain came, light at first, then pounding the roof like fists. The wind howled through the cracks of the windows, a sound that felt almost alive. The power went out just after 9 p.m., plunging the house into darkness. Emma lit candles, trying to keep Jonah calm, but the unease was creeping up her spine. There was something wrong about this storm. The hurricane's eye was still miles offshore, yet the wind was screaming outside like a wild animal. Emma checked the radio, but static filled the airwaves. She tried her phone, no signal. In the candlelight, Jonah looked pale, his wide eyes reflecting fear. "Mom, why is it so loud?" he asked, his voice trembling. Emma opened her mouth to answer when a loud bang rattled the front door, as if something or someone had slammed into it. She jumped up, heart racing. The wind couldn't be strong enough to do that yet, could it? Another bang, harder this time. Jonah ran to her, clutching her arm. "What is that?" he whispered. Emma slowly moved toward the door, the banging growing more frantic. She peered through the peephole, but the rain was so heavy it blurred everything into shadows. There was a flash of lightning, and for a split second she saw something. Someone, standing at the edge of the porch. A man, drenched and ragged, his face pale and hollow. His eyes were wide, too wide, and locked onto hers through the peephole. "Help me." Emma's breath caught in her throat. She stepped back, hands shaking as she reached for the lock. Before she could turn it, another flash of lightning lit the sky, and this time the man was gone. A shiver ran down her spine. There was no way someone could have disappeared that fast. "Mom?" Jonah's voice was shaky. "It's okay," Emma lied. "It's just the storm." The wind howled louder, shaking the house as if trying to tear it apart. Emma hurried Jonah into the hallway, away from the windows, and barricaded them in the bathroom, the safest place in the house during a storm. But even there, she couldn't escape the feeling that something was terribly wrong. The wind suddenly stopped. Silence. The eye of the storm was passing over them. But the quiet wasn't a relief. It felt unnatural, oppressive. "Do you hear that?" Emma strained her ears. Faintly, beneath the stillness, there was a sound, like whispers. She pressed her ear to the bathroom door, and the whispers grew louder, clearer. Voices, multiple voices, chanting in the darkness. "We are the storm." Her heart pounded in her chest. She slowly opened the door and peeked into the hallway. Shadows shifted in the candlelight, moving in ways they shouldn't have. The whispers seemed to come from every direction, swirling like the wind outside. Then she saw them. Figures, barely visible in the dim light, standing at the edges of the room, their eyes glowing faintly, like embers. Their faces were gaunt, hollow, as if they had been swallowed by the storm itself. They were the storm. Emma backed up into the bathroom, her pulse racing. She slammed the door and locked it, her back pressed against the cold tile as Jonah clung to her. The voices were growing louder, surrounding them. "Mom, what do they want?" "I don't know." Outside, the wind roared back to life, the house creaking and groaning as if it might tear apart. The shadows under the door grew darker, shifting unnaturally, almost like they were alive. Suddenly, the door rattled violently, and the whispers turned to screams. Emma grabbed Jonah and held him close. "Don't look." The door burst open, the shadows flooding the room like a wave, and the last thing Emma saw before the lights went out completely was the man from the porch, standing in the doorway, his hollow eyes locked onto hers. Then everything went black. When the storm passed the next morning, Everwind was in ruins. The sun broke through the clouds, casting light on the destruction. Houses were flattened, trees ripped from their roots, but Emma's house stood eerily intact. The rescue crews found the front door wide open, the house silent and empty. Inside, everything was as it had been the night before, except for the bathroom. The door was hanging off its hinges, and the words "We are the storm" were scratched into the wall over and over again. But Emma and Jonah were never found. "We are the storm,"